Okay, so basically I am basically just doing a quick podcast right now. The first thing I'll talk about is my Facebook page that I invited people to come join. The name of that Facebook page, if you have your Facebook, go on your Facebook right now. It is Jeep Trackhawk SRT Hellcat. I had to name it like this because they had so many ridiculous, restrictions and constant suggestions and shit on Facebook about what to name the page. They said everything else was invalid. So, it's Jeep. It's at Jeep Trackhawk SRT Hellcat. It's all one word, right? So, basically, that's the page. So I want to thank everybody who's already joined it. And I have new content that's going to be coming out tonight. There's going to be a Mopar takeover of Manhattan. And I'll be posting, live pictures. I'll probably try to do live video and port it over or whatever. I'll figure out what's the easiest way to do it. Facebook crunches your video down to like 720p as a max. And I think YouTube does about the same. So the live video really doesn't look as good as the HD video. So anyway, whatever I do post, the pictures I post, I'll try to get as good pictures as I can. So just remember to come to Facebook and make sure you friend and like Jeep Trackhawk SRT Hellcat. Now, I couldn't put in any more words, but I would have added Demon and I would have added like Durango. But the problem is it would have gotten so long they wouldn't let you do it. And I really didn't have a choice there. So that's it. At Jeep Trackhawk SRT. So I'm adding lots of people. I got lots of people being added right now. Everybody who's liking and everybody who's friending, I'm adding you right away. Like, I'm not even really looking at your credentials. I'm just adding you right away. Just because I know you watch my videos and everything. So basically, we got new news today from Tesla, one of the companies which I tried to encourage. It really bothers me. Back when Tesla was $30 a share, back in 2012, if you remember, if you look all the way back in my videos, I kept trying to convince people to buy into Tesla. I kept trying to convince people to buy into BLOZF because they were making those cannabis breathalyzers, and as you saw, BLOZF shot up from the 40-cent range to over, it was like $1.90, and then it came down a little bit. But that's the thing. One of the things about stocks that you got to understand, like some people were sending me messages, they were like, yeah, mentor me. One of the things you got to understand is you can't just sell that shit. Some companies you got to be in for the long haul. Now, if there's a company where the CEO just got caught raping somebody or sexually assaulting somebody, like that guy, what's this guy's name? The comedian, the guy who dressed like a baby. There's like a couple of guys. Well, this is the NFL thing. That guy Moore. This guy Moore is guilty as sin. This piece of shit was in the malls looking for young girls. And then you got this guy Al Franken. I never thought that fucking guy was funny. And now you find out that the guy is like sexually assaulting women and everything. So if you have a CEO of a company who gets caught raping somebody or something like that, that's the only time you should sell. If you have a CEO that kills somebody and they get caught, or there's like a murder case and you know he's going down, that's when you sell. You do not sell until something crazy happens. Now, the problem is, there's a basic rule. You buy low, you sell high. You do not get panicked. If people had panicked when Bitcoin started its dips when it was like less than $300, if you had panicked then, you'd have never seen Bitcoin 8,000. In fact, what's the price of Bitcoin? What is that? BTC? Where is it? And I tried to tell people, I tried to tell my friends, buy Alibaba. I had my friend buy, okay, it's 7,824. I told my friend, buy Alibaba, buy Apple. Don't sell it. What happened? Alibaba dropped below like $90, and then they started panicking, and then they started selling out. And I kept saying, don't do it. And they were like, oh, yeah, but it's going to go, I'm going to lose my money. They sold it. Now what's Alibaba? What's Baba now, huh? What's Baba now? I tried to tell them. Nobody listened. Tried to tell them, what's Baba now? $185. Now, I had you buy in at 88, and you sold. And I told you don't sell, but you didn't listen. So now it's $185. I still got mine. Oh, well. So anyway, okay, so we got that Mopar takeover coming tonight. But what I wanted to talk about was the new Tesla cars. So apparently Tesla has a new Roadster, which I knew they were going to do this sooner or later. I just didn't know it was going to cost what it cost. But Tesla has a new car that apparently does 0 to 60 in 2 seconds. Not even 2. Look at that, 1.9. And the mere fact that they would make a claim like that means that they've already tested this thing. So whether it's in production phase or pre-production phase, they've already tested this thing. Now, considering the fact the interiors of Teslas are bland, flat, and there's almost nothing in them except seats and a steering wheel, especially when you look at things like the new Tesla Model 3, which doesn't even have a gauge cluster, they've cut down on weight to the point where all they're basically doing is turning a freaking iPad sideways and saying that, yeah, that's your entire gauge cluster. Now, on the one hand, you got to say, wait a minute, this fucking interior sucks. There's like nothing in it. But on the other hand, you look at it, you go, oh yeah, weight reduction, bro. So here you go. They've got a new car that does 0 to 60 in 1.9 seconds and goes to 104.2 with a top speed of 250, which for $200,000. This is an American company. I got stock in it. You can buy stock in it. This is an American company building a car that's goddamn near. Well, first of all, this thing is faster than the Bugatti Veyron. This thing is faster than the Bugatti Chiron. If this thing's doing 0 to 60 in 1.9, neither one of those gasoline-powered cars with all the turbos in the world, none of them can match that shit. I've driven Tesla Ludicrous Mode. If you look back in my videos, you'll remember that I drove the Tesla when it first came out in 2012, when nobody was even thinking about a Tesla. If you look back in my videos, you'll see I have the P85 high-speed highway test, right? If you keep looking, you'll see that I got the Insane Mode test. And if you keep looking, you'll see I got a Ludicrous test. Now, I'll be perfectly honest. There's some videos that I actually had to make hidden because the problem is that, you know, when you drive cars like that and you do illegal shit, the last thing you want is the cops seeing it. You don't want Elon Musk seeing it because that guy will come after you. So there's certain things that I've done in these cars that I've had to hide very specifically because I don't want these fucking cops coming at my house. And they know where I live because they pass by and some of the cops say, hey, those are nice cars and all that. I don't need the motherfuckers coming to my house and serving me no warrants because I've been seeing more and more of these goddamn state police around here. I don't want those people even knowing anything about me. In fact, I got to get a bigger privacy fence. So anyway, Tesla's got a car that does 0 to 60 in 1.9. So guess who just got de-seated as the fastest production car ever? Dodge Demon. The Dodge Demon, if this is true, and I have to say I'm pretty sure it is, this would be faster to 60 than the Dodge Demon. And if this thing has a top speed of 250 miles per hour, I already know the Dodge Demon does not have a top speed of 250 miles per hour. The only thing about it is this thing costs $200,000, which is like, I don't know, about 98% more than the bottom 98% of this country have to pay. The average person cannot afford a $200,000 race car. You know, you don't see, McLarens flying off the shelf. You don't see, Lamborghini Huracans every other block for a reason. Those things are $200,000 plus. Actually, they cost closer to about, like $300,000, but you can get in for about $200,000. Thing about it is that's a hell of a lot of money. So basically, for the cost of a new S-Class Maybach, you can get yourself basically I have to say, when they start doing the performance tests on this Tesla Roadster, this is basically going to be the fastest street legal production car ever made. I mean, when you really think about it, there ain't nothing that has a gas engine that is street legal and can do 1.9 seconds to the 60. And the quarter mile they haven't listed, which is odd that, oh no, they did list it. It's 8.9. So if this thing runs the quarter mile 8.9, my guess is that, yeah, because of that instantaneous torque from Ludicrous Mode, it gets right off the line faster than the Model S. But 8.9, it's going to most likely run into the same problems that the Dodge Demon runs into. Like, you know how they say you have to have a roll cage in order to go to the NHRA certified events? If this thing can run 9-second quarter miles, and I don't even believe that number, I think it could probably do better than that. Because the thing about it, one thing you got to understand about these electric cars, all you got to do is put in a more powerful fuse and put in stronger wiring or thicker wiring. And these cars can be boosted even faster than what they claim here. The only reason why these things are limited the way they're limited is to protect the longevity of the car, so this way that thing's not driving back and forth between service visits. I really do believe if this car comes out in this form, this will be literally the fastest car in the world. Because the Bugatti Chiron, and even though it can go like over 250 miles per hour, it cannot touch 1.9. It damn sure can't do 8.9. When you're talking about 8-second, 9-second quarter miles, you're talking about literally the front end of the car possibly lifting up. But here you go, this thing is probably going to be all-wheel drive. And if this thing is all-wheel drive, that thing is going to be insane. So the Dodge Demon, and I hate to say it, you know I love SRT. You know I wouldn't say anything bad about SRT, but here's the problem though. I've driven ludicrous mode. There ain't nothing I've driven faster than ludicrous mode. Ludicrous mode is fast, and it's so ridiculously fast that it's like pointing and shooting a gun. I mean, it's so ridiculously fast that like I literally didn't want to drive with the windows open because I thought that shit was going to throw me out the window. So this just might be the fastest car ever produced. The Bugatti Chiron Supersport, the Bugatti Veyron Supersport, those aren't as fast as this thing is. You know, like there's no other car you can name that's as fast as this is if it's doing 1.9 second 60s and 8.9 second quarter miles. You can't name anything faster than that. So, well, that's just one piece of their news. The other piece of their news, as we expected, Tesla has now a semi-truck, which I'm really happy about. See, here's the thing. The average person can't afford a Tesla because those things are priced so high that they're kind of like Audis. They're like the Audi A7 and the S7 and the RS7. So it's amazing that I've never actually seen anybody really direct compare the Audi A7, S7, and RS7 to the Tesla P90, P90D Ludicrous, and the P100. It's amazing that I've never actually seen anybody make that comparison. But, you know, most of these car reviewers are bullshitting, and they get loaned these cars, and because they get loaned these cars, they're afraid to say anything negative. And they don't want to say anything negative because they absolutely know Tesla is very, very apprehensive of the media. They do not easily loan out cars. When I first drove it back in 2012, when I invested in their stock in 2012, they were really happy to let you drive it and take pictures and all that, because back then they hadn't really set any ground rules. But now their ground rules have been set. There's, as far as the Jeep Trackhawk 0 to 60, without launch control, these Jeeps don't get to 60 as fast as you'd hope. The 0 to 60 hasn't been tested by regular people. Like, they keep testing these things on skid pads and tracks and shit. Nobody's doing that. We want to test it on regular roads. So it hasn't really been tested yet, but I can guarantee you the 0 to 60 on the Trackhawk is not 1.9 seconds. This thing is running 1.9 seconds, and my bet is, with better tires like drag radials, my bet is that Tesla Roadster with drag radials could probably beat not 1.9 seconds. So if you take one of these skinny-ass Californian liberals, and, you know, they're rich and everything because they inherit a lot of their money from their dead relatives, and some of them actually work for, like, Microsoft and Apple. So if you take one of these skinny-ass California liberals or one of these New York pencil neck metrosexuals, and you have them go out and buy themselves a Tesla, what is it called, a Tesla Roadster. My guess is, since they're so small and skinny, I think they could probably beat 1.9 seconds. My guess is they might be able to do better. They might be able to do like 1.5 or something, because those are some skinny ass, no weight having, pencil neck, freaking metrosexual liberal ass. Like, they're so skinny, and they don't eat meat. Oh, it hurts the chickens, it hurts the cows, it hurts the pigs. They treat the pigs terrible. They throw them in a pen, and they don't have antibiotics and shit. Well, you know, while they're not out hugging trees, they're coming up with ways to basically ignore being the human that they are evolved into. So my thing is, I think that you might be able to beat 1.9 seconds if you take one of these skinny pencil neck metrosexual ass liberals and put them in that car. Then the car will weigh a lot less. But realistically, what I'd really prefer they do is stretch the Model S to make an S-Class competitor, so this way I could sit in the thing and be comfortable. I get in the Model S, the freaking door frame is further ahead than I am. Now, granted, if you get T-boned, it really does help you, because like the other car will hit you in the side, and the car's bumper will basically hit your B-pillar. My thing is, it's not comfortable for me to have to get in and then slide backwards. I don't like that shit. So my thing is, I really wish that Tesla would make the Model S stretched. But what they're doing is they're bringing out a truck. So apparently they're going to have a self-driving electric truck. Apparently they never saw that movie Maximum Overdrive. And you had these autonomous trucks coming to life, killing people. But this thing is supposed to save you like 25 cents per mile or something like that. And companies like Walmart would love to have some shit like that. So I knew they were coming with a truck sooner or later. I was hoping they could call it, quote-unquote, the Model T. You know, unfortunately, Ford might still have, like, trademark patents to that or something, so they can't call it the Model T. But that would be cool if they could call it the Model T. Because that would kind of be like recharging America's dream in the automotive industry. You know, that would be like, you know, Ford came and they made the Model T using the assembly line. And now Tesla's come to redesign the entire car and get rid of the old car and evolve the car. So the new Model T is going to be a freaking electric truck that stares at you like a villain from Half-Life in your rearview mirror. Would you love to see this shit right here in your rearview mirror? You can't see anything about that truck. You can't see the driver. All you see is like 5 lights. And the shit right here looks terrifying. That shit looks like something from Halo 3. Look at that. That thing looks like one of the Forerunners. That thing is terrifying. Look at that shit. So, they're building an electric truck. Most likely, this thing's going to cost like $2 or $3 million. But when I knew Tesla was building a truck, my question is, why didn't they build like a light truck like the Ford F-150? Because, yeah, these semi-trucks, thank you Tesla, for getting all these horrible polluting machines off of the streets. You know, they're polluting when they're delivering our shit to Walmart from China. But my thing is, why aren't you already delivering a Model T that can compete with the Ford F-150 and the Ram truck? Because realistically, I mean, if we could get all of these, you know, these polluting gas guzzlers, these trucks off the road, that would be fantastic, you know, because then we'd have cleaner air, and we'd have, you know, hurricanes that don't murder several thousand people every year, you know. And you know, Puerto Rico, Tesla's helping rebuild Puerto Rico. Where's my Tesla stock? Where's my Tesla stock? Where is this shit? Where is it? Tesla stock right now is back up. It was like 306, but and I keep saying, don't panic, don't panic. Look, it's 315 right now, 315. See, I like to quote things in these videos as they happen, and the reason why is because this way I can look back on the video and I can say, oh yeah, I remember when my Tesla stock was only worth 250 and everybody was telling me to sell. You know, I have a friend, Stephen Lang. He sells cars. I would give a shout out to his page, and Stephen Lang told me to sell. He told me to sell a long time ago. I was like, I'm not fucking selling this shit. I'm gonna stay on till the wheels fall off. I don't sell my stock, not until the bitter end. Now, if Elon Musk gets caught beating up women or fighting puppy dogs together and putting them in a ring together and making them kill each other, then I'll sell my Tesla stock, because then I know that, you know, people are definitely going to sell. Thing about it is, when they sell, the stock goes into a dip. That's when you have to buy more. It's called buying the dip, because they're still an electric energy storage company, and they're turning out a great product. Now, hopefully they'll hurry up and redesign those interiors so they're not so hard and flat and lifeless. But up until then, that's all we can really hope for. Hopefully they do that. So I don't think I missed anything, but you know, I haven't really been happy with a lot of the news coming out about new products. Like, for instance, the Xbox One X. Like, I know I'm jumping from one thing to another. The Xbox One X. It feels like they've run out of ideas to sell us shit. Like, all this thing does is it's more powerful and it can do 4K. And they want $500 for this fucking thing. But I already bought an Xbox One Day One edition, and they made big promises, and they didn't deliver on the games that I expected them to deliver. And then there's PlayStation 4. PlayStation 4 got the PS4 Pro. Nobody's talking about that. It's not worth even buying if you don't have a 4K, a 4K television. The thing about it is, it's like, why are they bringing out revisions of their systems less than 3 years in that are powerful enough to be new systems but aren't new systems. It doesn't make sense. It's like they're just trying to get our money from us. And that's part of the reason why I've been upset with the Jeep Trackhawk for so long. Because my problem is, it's like you made this thing look exactly like the low-end models. It looks exactly like the low-end models. I have a problem with that. And granted, yeah, with enough tuning and shit and enough getting new stuff and parts, yeah, I could make it look better. But I shouldn't have to do that. You know, I really shouldn't have to do that. And I feel upset because it feels like they just want us to consume. But it's like at a certain point, it's like they gave up trying to actually make shit better. It's just like they're just throwing shit out and saying, oh yeah, just go buy it just because you can. It doesn't make any fucking sense. I don't understand it. So that's just where we are. You know, but I would like to, you know, have better products. Oh look, it says live now. Ain't that cool? I would really like it if SRT would, because, you know, we don't know how they're going to change the Jeep. We don't know how they're going to change the Challenger. We don't know how they're going to change the Charger. There's speculation that they're moving to the Ghibli platform. There's speculation that they're going to move to the Alfa Romeo platform. But right now, you don't know. And you're not going to know anything until they actually release some kind of spy shots or something of the new cars. And I'm really upset that it just feels like they just want us to keep super consuming. Like, for instance, they got the Dodge Demon right now. And the Dodge Demon seems to basically already be beaten by this Tesla. But the thing about it is, the Dodge Demon is still a $30,000 car with like $60,000 worth of shit added to it in order to make it better. And then they took a lot of stuff out of it. But they didn't really come up with anything new. All they did was they stuffed more power and, you know, like smaller wheels onto a Demon, and then they put larger wheels in the back and all that. Like, for instance, if they really wanted to, they could say, yeah, well, we're going to make the Dodge Satan. And they'll take a Challenger, make it a wide-body Challenger, put 1,000 horsepower in it, and say, yeah, this is the fastest street-legal fucking car ever produced. But they didn't really give you anything more. All they did was just upgrade it. And I feel like all we're doing lately is just buying upgrades. I feel like there's not, like, real movement forward. Like, there's no real innovation. Like, I look at a lot of these new cars coming out, and it's the same old car. It's just got, like, a better computer, and it's just got, like, maybe, you know, seats with a stripe in them. You know, and I feel like it's like they're not trying hard enough anymore. You know, and that's part of the reason why I made this page right here. Yeah, there's a lot of losers out there like Brian Orton and Scott Mowbray, however you pronounce his name, I really don't care. And they're content being fed the same old kitty litter. They're content with that. I'm not content with that. And they, oh yeah, you're complaining, don't complain. Yeah, well, if I'm spending money for something, I demand the best. It's like, if you are willing to throw your money away and you're not getting as good as they can give it to you, it's not like I'm asking for anything unreasonable. If they can't give you what you demand, or if they can't give you what you're spending your money for, and they're trying to convince you that by getting less you're getting more, it's like, how do you get by the cognitive dissonance? How do you get by the fact that they're giving you less and charging you more? That shit doesn't make sense. And that's the attitude that's killing Lincoln, and that's the attitude that's killing Cadillac. Their interiors suck, and they're being surpassed. They've been surpassed by the Germans, who, because of unfair trade deals, are able to sell their luxury cars here for not much more money. And I'm like, Lincoln, Cadillac, what the fuck are y'all doing? The Continental's too small. It should have been bigger. The CT6 is almost the right size. The hood, the roof could have been a little bit bigger. But I'm like, how do you get away with this shit? You're giving us less, and you're either charging us the same price or more. That doesn't make sense to me. It's like, how are you getting away with that shit? So my only thing is, it's like, I hate complaining, but if that's what it is, then that's what I got to do. Because the thing about it is, when the consumer complains, that's when changes get made. That's the thing about capitalism. If you don't say anything, then you'll just keep getting fed the same old fucking puppy chow. I don't deal with that. It's like, when I get my puppy chow, that shit better have whipped cream and frosting on it, and strawberries and fucking mango and peaches. It's like, I'm not going to just pay you for just enough. I want it all. Fuck it. And don't tell me about no complaining, Scott Mober. You can kiss my ass. Because you ain't got no block button now, buddy. When I say something, it goes. And I'm saying it right now. They need to make changes. And if they don't make changes, we're going to make changes. So that's the reason why I had to make this page. So far I've got like close to 100 people watching it and subscribing. You know, I'm trying to get a lot of Jeep owners on there. But anybody who likes SRT products in general, I don't really have any restrictions. I don't really care about, you know, what SRT products you post. I really don't care, honestly. It's like you could post neons, demons, or whatever. Because all of these other pages, it's like they're just so boring now. It's like you go to them and they're just talking the same old bullshit. Oh yeah, well I got some new tires because I burned away my last tires doing drag runs and everything. My last tire is good. That shit is boring after a while. I want something new. It's like you're boring me. I don't like being bored. I want more. You know, I need more. So that's basically that. And you know, join me tonight. I guess I'll probably do live video if it's not too dark, but I'll have the Mopar Takeover hosting, and I'll be doing live video tonight. Now keep in mind that when you do live video, it's not in HD, because when you're in the city, you may not have a strong signal. So if I think that the signal is not strong, what I will do is I will do it in 4K or 1080p rather than do it live. But it's up to you. If you think it's better live, just tell me you think it's better live. I would prefer to do it in HD because, you know, I want it to look good. You know, just like that last car meet that I went to. What was it called? Forget. It was Cars and Coffee in Oceanside. You know, I would prefer to, you know, to give you the best image quality as possible. The only downside is I can't host live and still record HD, you know, because that's the limitations of the software. So, you know, I'm doing what I can. And, you know, other than that, I guess I'm about to end up signing off. So I've almost made it to 30 minutes. But I think what I will do is the last thing I want to talk about, since I did call this news. And some people say, oh, yeah, it was fake news. Let me tell you something. This bullshit, this fucking bullshit with Franken and the GOP tax debate. You see, I'm so glad that these things are on the same channel. This is the problem with this country. This country is so easy to manipulate. And that's how Donald Trump won. You know me, you knew that I was saying that he was going to win a year before this dude even got the Republican nomination. How did I know he was going to win? Because I knew exactly who he was, and I knew what he was saying, and I knew that the American people were just dumb enough to allow themselves to be manipulated. Now, Hillary was a horrible candidate. I would have never voted for her. I didn't vote for her. But the problem is we allow ourselves to be manipulated by these people so easily. I mean, here you go. They're talking about sports. I don't care about that. They're talking about Al Franken. They're talking about the Hollywood sex scandals and all that. But what you're not seeing is the most important shit right here. When they were busy arguing over James Comey and all that bullshit about, oh, what did you know when you knew it? They were silently getting rid of Dodd-Frank behind the scenes. Silently. Next thing you know, you wake up, Dodd-Frank is gone, and any protections that they claim that you had under Dodd-Frank, that shit is gone. Meanwhile, now we've got sex scandals. It doesn't fucking matter who's doing what. I don't care about Al Franken, and I don't care about anybody in Hollywood, except maybe Kevin Spacey and Steven Seagal. As far as I'm concerned, Steven Seagal is guilty. I mean, he's not guilty until he's proven guilty in a court of law. In fact, that should be a movie. He should make a movie called Not Guilty Until Proven Guilty in a Court of Law. That should actually be a movie. So Steven Seagal and Kevin Spacey are innocent. I don't care what charges you throw at them. They are innocent. But this guy right here, this tax battle shit, here you've got a president who has so much contempt for this country that he refuses to show you his tax return. And you people are dumb enough to let this dude manipulate the tax code. He has no respect for you at all, will not show you his own taxes. And you're dumb enough, I'll say it again, you're dumb enough to let this bastard manipulate the tax code. This guy right here is an indictment of this country and its laws and its Constitution. The Constitution failed by allowing Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump to run for the presidency. That is a failure. The Electoral College was supposed to prevent it. The Electoral College was designed as a buffer between the presidency and the people, because there was always a possibility that the people were stupid enough to elect an unfit leader. I had no idea that this country would allow itself to go this long without putting these people, not just him, but this Congress too. This Congress is completely corrupt. And this country has gone this long without putting these people into check. I had no idea that these people were this fucking dumb. I had no idea. But every single day, President Trump gets on television and he does his song and dance routine and he insults somebody. And the thing about it is he does it every single day and he keeps us laughing at the television. Well, half of us are laughing and the other half of us are in pain watching him. But me personally, you already know where I stand on it. As far as I'm concerned, he's a test of this country's constitution. And so far, this country is failing the test. There are some Democrats that have moved to try to impeach him. But obviously, it's a movement that will basically be in vain because they don't have the power, they don't have the numbers. But the point is, for them to do their job is for them to make that movement and that action. The Republicans, if they were not corrupt and were doing their job, they too would be questioning him. This is not a dictatorship. I know a lot of people want a dictatorship. This is not a dictatorship. It's not a monarchy and it's not a dictatorship. He is an indictment. His presidency is an indictment of this country. And I say it again, I never imagined that these people would be stupid enough to allow somebody who has the contempt for them not to show his own taxes to manipulate the tax code. I can't believe that you are stupid enough to allow them to play smoke and mirrors, putting Kevin Spacey and all these people raping each other in Hollywood. You're allowing them to confuse you and to distract you while they are changing the tax code. And once that shit is changed, it doesn't matter if Hollywood disappears tomorrow. Once that tax code is changed, for the next couple of years, this country will go deeper into debt. The rich will take more of their money out of the system, hoarding their money, continuing to maintain a permanent nobility class over you. And then you are dumb enough to let them convince you that $1,200 extra a year is enough, when that comes out to about $100 a month. What the fuck are you doing with $100 a month? Nothing. You can barely... My freaking iPhone bill is $103 a month. So just with that little bullshit savings that they say they're gonna give you, and first of all, you gotta understand, I'm in a high tax bracket because I make over $150,000. So what he's doing would actually benefit me. The only problem is, what benefit is it for me to be able to drive supercars and I'm sitting in traffic with all these poor people with these fucking 4-cylinders and they're doing like 2 miles per hour in the middle lane? That doesn't help me. You know what they say, a rising tide lifts all boats. I have health care. My health care is secured. I have a pension. I have a retirement fund. That is secured. It doesn't help me if I retire and everybody else is poor and dying around me. That shit doesn't really help me. What would help me is national health care so that everybody has basic or even more, moderate. I don't even know how to better phrase it, but everybody should have health care in this country. I've lived in China. I got a broken ankle taken care of for like $200 or $300. I got cast twice. But here, if you go on a freaking ambulance, it costs you $1,000. With all the advancements in medical technology, prices should have come down, but they're not coming down because the government is picking and choosing winners and losers based on this tax code. With this tax code, they're basically telling you they don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a shit if you're middle class. They don't give a shit if you're poor. They're telling you that we're going to make tax cuts for the rich, and the rich are going to be driving around in Tesla Roadsters, and fuck you, you're going to have an Elantra with a 4-cylinder, and the most you might be able to afford is maybe a Mustang with a V6. And they're telling you up front they don't give a fuck about you. So my question is this: when are you going to be smart enough to challenge these people? I don't think you are. And I'd love for you to prove me wrong. I really would love for you to prove me wrong. But for you to allow people who have so little respect for you to manipulate the tax code when they refuse to show you their own taxes, And then you see these people, what was that bitch? And she's flashing with paper bills, money, and she's flashing with money. She was some guy's wife. These people have no respect for you whatsoever. And it reminds me of that quote. It said, what is it? I got to type it up so we can see it. If you can convince, let's see that quote. If you can convince, If you can convince the lowest white man, there it is, that's the quote. If you can convince, from LBJ, if you can convince the lowest white man that he's better than the best colored man, you won't even have to take his money. He will empty his pockets for you. I don't understand how poor people, working class people, how do you allow these people to just show nothing but contempt for you? I don't understand that. I hoped that these people would be smarter than that, but I knew they weren't. Yeah, it says if you can convince the lowest white man he's better than the best colored man, he won't notice you're emptying or picking his pockets. Hell, give him somebody to look down on and he'll empty his pockets for you. They've lied to you and tried to convince you that you too can be one of them. And the simple fact is, George Carlin said it best. It's a big club and you ain't in it. And these people are literally taking every last penny out of the system, and they're leaving you literally with nothing. And I don't understand why people aren't smarter. How do you allow Hollywood to keep distracting you? How do you allow the news to keep distracting you with absolute bullshit while they're picking your pockets? So don't get mad at me. I want you to just get smarter. Because if you don't get smarter and you don't outwork and outvote these assholes, then all of them will have their Tesla Roadsters and they'll be doing fucking ludicrous mode up and down your block. And meanwhile, you'll be trying to wipe the leaves off of your Mustang or your Ford F-150 trying to get to work, but you won't even have enough gas in your tank to get there.